Good day, dear students, and welcome back to our class. Today, we're going to be doing an essay called Snapshot of a Dog. It's the only essay that you have in your syllabus. And as you can see from the title, this is an essay about a dog. Okay, a snapshot is just a picture. So in the essay, we have the author who finds a picture of his dog that has now passed away, and then he tells you about his dog, right? Before we get onto the essay and onto what this dog is all about, I want you to think about a pet that you have or you may have had, especially if it was a dog. And I want you to tell me, of course, you can't tell me, but I want you to think about whether these animals have a personality of their own. Human beings, we've got a personality. Maybe we can be very shy, or maybe we can be very manipulative, or maybe we can be very sweet. So many different traits or qualities as persons. That's what makes up our personality. But what about animals? Do animals also have a personality of their own? Is what I would want you to consider. And the lesson that we have today, this essay rather, is about one such dog. And at the end of the lesson, I want you to tell me whether this dog also has a personality of his own. Okay, let's begin. It's called Snapshot of a Dog. And like I told you, a snapshot is a picture, okay, a photograph of a dog. I ran across a dim photograph of him the other day, going through some old things. He's been dead 25 years. His name was Rex. My brothers and I named him when we were in our early teens. And he was a bull terrier. Okay, so first thing we know that this dog is already dead, and it has been 25 years since the death. So it's a very long time ago. Okay, and this dog was owned by 3 brothers. So 2 brothers and I. The author is also a male, so we can safely assume that there are 3 brothers. And Rex was their dog. What is the breed of the dog? The dog was a bull terrier. Now, I have a picture of a bull terrier so that you can have an idea as to what this is like. So this is a bull terrier. You can see it's a very cute looking dog. And this is a story set in America. Okay, so the family is in America and the dog is also from America. So that's a bull terrier. Now, an American bull terrier, yeah, the very next line. An American bull terrier, we used to say proudly, none of your English bulls. Okay, actually a bull terrier is supposed to be a mixed breed between a bulldog and a terrier dog. Okay, and a bulldog is known for its determination, and a terrier dog is known for its hunting or fighting skills. So, in a bull terrier, both these qualities are mixed. Okay, so in a bull terrier, you will find a dog who is determined and who is a very good fighter at the same time. So, Rex, you need to remember, these are the 2 main qualities of Rex, the bull terrier. He's a very determined dog and he's a very good hunter, and because he's a good hunter, you can also say that he's a good fighter. Okay, they're very strong dogs. Now, so we are told that an American bull terrier, we would say proudly, none of your English bulls. He had one brindle eye that sometimes made him look like a clown and sometimes reminded you of a politician with a derby hat and a cigar. Brindle eye, I again have a picture for you. Yes, so a brindle spot is a spot like this. So you can see it's a brownish color spot, but there are some other multiple colors as well. So there's a slight tinge of orange here and different shades of brown here. So this is exactly what a brindle spot is. And Rex, we are told, was a white dog, pretty much like this dog with a brindle eye. So only on one side of his eye he had this brindle spot. Okay, plus there are more brindle spots that he has. So let's read up to find out where else he's got these brindle spots. First of all, the brindle eye, we are told because of the brindle eye, and we just looked at what a Rex must look like, at least from the front, exactly like that picture. He looked sometimes like a clown. Okay, so it was very funny because he's a nice white dog otherwise, and suddenly one big patch right in his eye. Okay, so sometimes it made him look like a clown, sorry. But there were times when he also looked like a politician with a derby hat and a cigar. A derby hat is just a black round hat which a politician will wear, not in India but abroad, and a cigar. So sometimes he would look nice and distinguished. He would stand out, but sometimes he looked very funny. Okay, they could not make out what is it. Okay, because of that brindle eye, that spot that he has right on his eye. The rest of him was white except for a brindle saddle. A saddle is just the spot above the back of the dog. Now, even when you see a horse, they have a saddle that is put so that you can climb on that horse and sit on that saddle. So that is the area that we're talking about. Okay, so on that area, a little bit towards sliding down, not exactly on the back area, but a little bit sliding down, there was another brindle spot. Okay, so the rest of him was white except for a brindle saddle that always seemed to be slipping off. So this is what it means. It's not exactly on the back, it's slightly on the side of the back, so it looks like as if it is slipping off the back. Okay, the spot. Okay, and a brindle stocking on a hind leg. So again, on the hind leg is the back leg of the animal, right? So on the back leg there was another spot, a brindle spot that he had, so it looked like a stocking that he's wearing. Okay, so there are 3 brindle spots that Rex had. One is on the eye, one is on the saddle or the back, and one is on the hind leg. Okay, but other than that, he was a pure white dog. We are told, nevertheless, so even though he had these spots and there were times when he looked like a clown, we are told, nevertheless, there was a nobility about him. So there was something about him. He was not a clown in any way. He was a very dignified dog. You could just see that he respected himself as a dog, and he stood out. Because another thing about Rex and how this is a different quality, or this is not usual qualities, because dogs they don't really have that dignity. They're very loyal, and they beg a lot, so to say. Cats have that dignity about them. They won't interfere with you, and you've got to go to them, and they want you to treat you in a certain manner. Other than that, they will not respond to you. That is how cats are. But dogs, they're used to begging. They're used to coming to you and climbing over you and everything. But Rex, although he was loving, there was a little bit of dignity and nobility about him. The way he carried himself, there was a lot of pride there. Okay, you could tell that he respected himself. Okay, and which is different. It stood out. You could see that about Rex as a dog. Okay, so we are told, nevertheless, there was a nobility about him. He was big and muscular and beautifully made. So he was tall, and we're not talking about very tall, because you've just looked at a picture of a bull terrier. They're not really tall compared to some other dogs, but for his own breed, he was quite tall, and he was muscular, he was strong enough, and he was beautifully made. And we've just looked at pictures. They are very beautiful. Okay, he never lost his dignity even while trying to accomplish the extravagant tasks my brother and myself used to set for him. One of these was the bringing of a 10-foot wooden rail into the yard through the back gate. We would throw it out into the alley and tell him to get it. Okay, so now these are boys, they are teenage boys, and they used to love their dog, and they would make their dog do anything and everything, okay, just for fun, right? So one of these extravagant things, one of these, out of the ordinary, it's not a usual thing that you'll make a dog do, but they would do it for fun. Okay, so one of those things that they made Rex do was they told Rex that he has to bring a 10-foot wooden rail. So that's a huge wooden rail into the yard, into their compound wall, through the back gate. Okay, just so that you have an idea about this wooden rail, I didn't get you an exactly 10-foot wooden rail, but this is somewhat the kind of an object they are talking about. Okay, so it's a rail like this, but it's not so small. Like I said, it's a 10-foot wooden rail, so it's pretty wide. You can imagine it. Okay, so what was the duty, or what was the task that these boys used to give Rex? He had to lift that wooden rail and he would have to get it back into their compound wall. So purposely they would throw the wooden rail outside their compound wall in the alley, outside the streets, and from there Rex had to go running, get it, and take that wooden rail 10 foot long. But however, he would have to take it and bring it back into the compound wall through the back gate. They had a gate in the backyard, so through that gate he would have to bring it. Now obviously everybody knows nobody's gate is that wide, 10 foot wide. We all know that. Okay, so let's just see what happens here and how does Rex do it. But one thing we know for sure, that even when he was doing something like this, he was trying to achieve this rather silly task, even then he would not lose his dignity. There was a way he carried himself, and you could tell that there's a lot of pride in it, and there's a lot of respect in it, in the way that he did it. It was not silly at all. Okay. So we would throw it out into the alley and tell him to get it. Rex was as powerful as a wrestler, and there were not many things that he couldn't manage somehow to get hold of with his great jaws and lift or drag to wherever he wanted to put them, or wherever we wanted them put. So this is another thing we are told about Rex. Not only is he a dignified dog, but he's also very muscular, and he is as strong as a wrestler. Okay, so wrestlers are really strong, and this little dog is equally strong. He could carry almost about everything, even if it was a 10-foot wooden rail, which for us it would be very difficult. We would probably require 2 people to carry it, but he would be able to carry it on his own, despite his size and everything. Okay, so he was that strong. And why? Because remember, he is a bull terrier. They are strong dogs. They are good hunters. They are determined dogs, and if they want to do something, they'll definitely do it. So even if it's lifting something heavy, all the more he'll be able to do it, because he's always strong. Okay. So now what we are told, he would catch the rail at the balance and lift it clear off the ground and trot with great confidence towards the gate. So he would lift the rail, broad enough rail, wide enough rail, but he would lift it. He was strong enough to do it on his own, and he would very happily and with a lot of confidence come trotting. Trotting is how a dog moves a little quickly, not walking but trotting. Okay, but not running exactly. Okay, in between a walk and a run would be a trot. Okay, so he would trot with it towards the gate of the 3 brothers where they lived, the house. Of course, since the gate was only 4 feet wide or so, he couldn't bring the rail in both sides. Okay, so the gate was, like we had already spoken about this, the gates are not so wide. This rail that they threw out is 10 feet wide. Okay, how can a dog fit a 10 feet wide rail through a 4 feet wide gate? It's definitely not possible. There are 6 feet extra, wooden rail left there. How will he get it in? Okay, so especially when the dog is carrying that rail broadside. Broadside is the flat side. He's taking it, in the same way that we have it here. He's taking it like this. He carries it. Probably his jaws are holding this part of it in the middle. He lifts it up and he keeps it flatly. Now, an idea would be to lift it up from the side and to drag it across this side. So hold it somewhere here and to drag it through the gate. But the dog cannot understand all of it, at least so far. So we are told that he lifts it broadside. That means he's holding it, across the width, not across the length. Okay, and he's trying to bring it inside the 4 feet wide gate. So you know that what's going to happen. He definitely cannot succeed with that. So he found now that when he found that out when he got a few terrific jolts, but he wouldn't give up. So that's what he realized. He was trying to carry this 10 feet wide wooden rail through a 4 feet wide gate, and it wasn't going through. So the rail used to bang against the gate or against the pillars of the gate. Okay, and he started getting a jolt. He started getting this, jerk, sort of, obviously. Okay, so he realized that this is not going to work. He kept trying to take the rail inside, but he kept getting the jewels instead. Okay, so he realized that he has to find some other trick in order to get the the wooden rail inside the house, because his masters told him he's supposed to get the wooden rail inside the house. Okay, and of course he's a very determined dog, so he's not going to give up so easily. So then we are told he finally figured out how to do it by dragging the rail holding onto one end, growling. Okay, so finally he realized it, and he, instead of holding it in the center here, instead of holding it this side and keeping it flat, he takes the edge. Okay, he holds onto the edge and he manages to drag the rail lengthwise inside the 4 feet wide gate, and that's of course how he manages to get this wooden railing into the compound. Okay, much to the satisfaction of his 3 masters. So, and of course you do it growling. He is excited about it, okay, that he is actually doing the job. So he would do it. He got a great wagging satisfaction out of his work. We used to bet kids who had never seen Rex in action that he could catch a baseball thrown as high as they could throw it. He almost never let us down. Rex could hold a baseball with ease in his mouth in one cheek, as if it were a chew of tobacco. Okay, so whatever his masters told him to catch, whether it is a wooden rail or whether it's a baseball, whether it was a baseball, he would do it. Okay, and he had he got a lot of satisfaction from completing these tasks. He was such a determined dog, so no matter how difficult it was, he would complete it and he would enjoy doing it. Okay, even though it was very extravagant, it was out of the way. It's things that dogs usually don't do, but he wouldn't mind. Okay, and even a baseball. So I'm sure most of you have seen what a baseball is, but I just want you to see that it's something like this. This is a baseball, and imagine a dog like Rex trying to catch it and exactly like this on one side, like as if he's trying to eat on it. Okay, that is how he would catch it. So the 3 boys, the 3 masters, used to challenge any children or anybody around that, throw a baseball. You see, Rex will be able to catch it, and most of the times Rex did catch it. Okay, so he would not let his masters down. He was such a determined dog and such a good dog, and very skilled also. Okay, so that is what we know so far. Then, besides that, he was a tremendous fighter, but he never started fights. So we already know that he comes from a line of fighters because he's a bull terrier. Bulls are known for determination, and terriers are known for their fighting or hunting skills. So as a bull terrier, he's got both the determination as well as the fighting skills of a terrier. Okay, so needless to say, he was a tremendous fighter. He was a great fighter as a dog. But what's different about this dog is, and what's unusual about this dog is that although he is he's a born fighter, he never started fights. Now this is his personality. He has the strength, he has the skills, but he does not start fights. This is very different. You usually don't see that with animals. But this was Rex we're talking about. Right? So we're told, I don't believe he liked to get into them, despite the fact that he came from a line of fighters. So the author and the owner of the dog tells us that even though he came from a line of fighters as a bull terrier, he did not like getting into fights. Okay, he never went for another dog's throat, but for one of its ears. That teaches a dog a lesson, and he would get his grip, close his eyes, and hold on. So another thing is, first he doesn't like to get into fighting. But if he does get dragged into a fight, maybe if the other dog starts it, okay, then Rex has got to defend himself. So if he does get into a fight, again we are told that he would never grab the neck. Usually when animals fight, they attack the neck because you can easily defeat your opponent if you catch the neck itself. Okay, so but we are told that Rex was not violent like that. He could have done it, but he doesn't do it. Instead, whenever he got into a fight with another dog, because the other dog started it, he would catch that other dog's ear. And we are told one very fascinating bit of information that when dogs fight and one dog catches the other dog's ear, it's actually because this dog wants to teach the other dog a lesson. Okay, so he used to have that strategy towards fights. He would not catch the neck, he would not attack, he would just hold on to the ear of the other dog because he wanted to teach the other dog a lesson, perhaps not to fight. Okay, so that's another fascinating thing about Rex here. And another thing is he would hold on to the ear and then he would close his eyes and hold on. It would look like as if he's fast asleep. Very unusual, this dog is. Okay, he's in a fight but with his eyes closed. Okay, and we're told he could hold on for hours. So he would hold on to the ear of the other dog for hours with his eyes closed. And his longest fight lasted from dusk until almost pitch dark one Sunday. It was fought in East Main Street in Columbus with a large, snarly nondescript. When Rex finally got his ear gripped, the brief whirlwind snarling turned to screeching. It was frightening to listen to and watch. Okay, so there was one fight in particular that the author remembers where Rex held on to the ear of the other dog for a very long time. So this fight took place in East Main Street in Columbus or another place. And we are told that this dog was a snarly nondescript. So it was an ordinary street dog, but he was a very ferocious, very violent. Snarly means a very violent sort of a dog. Okay, as opposed to Rex, who although he was a fighter, he was not violent. Okay, so they got into a fight, and you can tell that since Rex never started a fight, this snarly nondescript dog started the fight. So what Rex did is Rex got onto the ear of the other dog, and the brief whirlwind snarling. So they're moving and moving, both of them, because it's a fight. Okay, so it's like a whirlwind, and they're a little. You won't necessarily call it violent, but you can make out it's a fight and it's a tense situation here. So they start with a few noises, but then it goes on to screeching. Okay, there's loud noise that both these angry dogs are making. Okay, it was frightening to listen to and watch, and everybody knows this. Whenever dogs are fighting or even cats are fighting, they never interfere because they are violent at that time, and anything can happen. Okay, so people from that street, they're looking around because in the middle of the street there is this dog fight, and one dog is holding on to the ear of the other dog, and a lot of noise and screeching going on there. So people don't know what to do. Okay, but we are told that it's a scary scene, and even the master doesn't know what to do with Rex, and he cannot make Rex stop also. So we are told the two dogs eventually worked their way to the middle of the car tracks, and after a while, 2 or 3 streetcars were held up by the fight. Now, the dogs are moving, they're not in one position, like we said, there's a whirlwind, so they're moving in circles again and again, and they keep moving further and further. So while moving, they reach the middle of a car track. And what car track? We're talking about streetcars in America. I'll show you a picture of a streetcar. So you must have seen it if they are not really seen much in India, but just a few places. I think Kolkata would be one. Yes, here. Okay, I think I've missed that. Okay, never mind. I'll send you a picture of it later. My internet has gone off. But a streetcar is like a tram. Okay, so there are these lines on the road itself. While you have your normal roads with other vehicles going there, there are these track lines for the streetcar. Okay, so I'll send you a picture later on the group so that you can have an idea. So if you have a fight going on those tracks, okay, because the tracks, like I told you, are part of your normal roads. Okay, so if it's going on, obviously that streetcar cannot move because they have to move only on those tracks, right? So as a result of the fight that is carried over to the car tracks, the streetcar tracks, 2 or 3 streetcars were held up, or they had to be stopped because they cannot move while 2 dogs are there, and of course people are also watching it. A motorman tried to pry Rex's jaw open with a switch rod. A motorman would be one of the drivers of the streetcar. Okay, so while he is there, he has a switch rod with him. A switch rod is actually, I think I have a picture of it. It's a rod that, something like this. It's usually used for fishing. Okay, so he has this rod with him, and with the help of this rod, he tries to open, with little force from the switch rod, he tries to open Rex's mouth, because What is the scene is there's this other dog, he's angry, he's growling, and Rex has not held on to anything. Rex has only held on to the ear of the other dog, and Rex refuses to let go of the ear of the other dog. That is why the fight continues, right? So the only option would be to open Rex's mouth and let go of the ear of the other dog. Okay, so we are told the motorman tried to pry Rex's jaw open with a switch rod. Somebody even lighted a fire and made a torch out of a stick and held it to Rex's tail, but he paid no attention. So they're trying all kinds of tricks in order to let Rex go off the other dog's ear, but nothing is working. Somebody even tried to put a little bit of fire onto Rex's tail to try and distract him, but Rex is so determined not to let go of the other dog's ear, so he holds on to it. So in the end, all the residents and storekeepers in the neighborhood were on hand, shouting this, suggesting that. So Rex's joy of battle when battle was joined was almost tranquil. He had a kind of pleasant expression during fights, not a vicious one. His eyes closed in for what would have seemed to be sleep, had it not been for the turmoil of struggle. Okay, so what we know is that people around are trying their best in order to let Rex go off the ear of the other dog. Okay, so people are suggesting all kinds of tricks and nothing seems to be working. But when you look at Rex in that fight scene, the author tells us that Rex was not a very excited dog. Whenever he got into a fight, he didn't get ferocious. He didn't get angry and excited in order to try and defeat his opponent. He was rather tranquil. Tranquil means very calm. Again, a very unusual quality for any dog, especially for a dog that comes from a line of fighters. Okay, so that was what Rex was. So even here, he does not seem excited at all. In fact, his eyes are closed. And anybody would have thought that Rex was fast asleep, but you could make out that Rex was still struggling. There was a little bit of struggle on his face because he was trying not to let go of the ear of the other dog. Okay, but other than that, he looked like he was sleeping because his eyes were closed and he was not excited. He was not, ferocious or violent at all. He was, in fact, very calm. Okay, the Oak Street Fire Department finally had to be sent for. I don't know why nobody thought of it sooner. So the last option, they decided to call the fire department, and look at what they do. 5 or 6 pieces of apparatus arrived, followed by a battalion chief. A hose was attached and a powerful stream of water was turned on the dog. So they called the fire department, they got a few equipment there on the scene, and they decided the only way to let go, or only way to separate these two dogs was to use a hose and throw water with great force on the two dogs, like as if you're trying to douse out a fire. That way you'll have to stop this fight. Okay, so the pipe was attached and a powerful stream of water was turned on the dogs. Now, even after, so I'm sure you can imagine the force of this water because it's the fire department. With that force of water, they can douse off huge flames and fires in people's houses or in the streets. So it's a very strong stream of water here. But we are told that despite the strong stream of water, Rex held on for several moments more while the torrent buffeted him about like a log in a freshet. Okay, a freshet is a flood. Okay, and he was like a log. A log is a piece of wood. So it is difficult for the freshet, the flood, to push the wood, the log of wood, but it manages to slowly do it. Okay. In the same way, it was with Rex. He was so strong, so it was difficult to push him. But slowly, with that force of the water, he manages to move. Okay, Rex the dog. So he was 100 yards away from where the fight started when he finally let go. So for almost 100 yards, for that distance, he continues to hold on to the dog, although he's getting pulled away because of the force of the water. Okay, and so finally, after he's reached 100 yards, he can't take it anymore, and he finally lets go of the ear of the other dog. But you can imagine the kind of strength and determination this dog has just from this scene. Okay, so that is Rex for us. We will stop here for today's class. So far, what we know about Rex is that Rex is a bull terrier. He belongs to an American family. There are 3 teenage boys that own him. Those 3 teenage boys, they make him do all kinds of extraordinary tasks. One of them is trying to get a very long wooden rail, inside a very small gate, and he manages to do it because of his determination and his intelligence. We are also told that Rex, although he comes from a line of fighters, does not really start a fight. Okay, but if he is forced into one, then he also is not a very violent fighter. In fact, he holds on to the ear of the other dog, not the neck of the other dog, which is very extraordinary, very different and unusual, because that's what dogs would usually do, especially dogs that are good fighters. But Rex, for some reason, chooses to be very calm during fights, and he doesn't attack his opponent. He just tries to hold onto the ear of the other dog and teach the other dog a lesson. Okay, that is all that we have for today. We will stop right here. Thank you.